Out from a Title IX investigation as 3 Amherst Regional Middle School staff members are placed on administrative leave. It comes after people spoke out at a school committee meeting a couple weeks ago. Western Mass News reporter Paris Dunford joins us live in studio with the details. Paris.
Chris, this investigation was launched after complaints about gender discrimination happening at Amherst Regional Middle School, specifically affecting those in the LGBTQ+ community. 3 Amherst Regional Public School staff members are now on administrative leave while an investigation is underway. This was brought on by a number of complaints regarding the Title IX policy at the school meant to protect against discrimination of students based on sex. Western Mass News obtained video of a public comment speak out at an April 25th school committee meeting where the issue was discussed. One person speaking for someone who wanted to remain anonymous.
Concern about staff at the middle school who were talking with queer students about praying to make sure that they're not queer anymore, using the Bible, using Christian ideology to discourage them from being authentic.
Other community members making similar comments. A current Amherst parent and past Amherst student is now a member of the LGBTQ+ community. She thinks back to the feelings she was exploring when she was in high school.
I probably would have chosen to speak with a school counselor and not my friends or parents. The idea that I might have been met with anything but curiosity and kindness, much less a homophobic agenda, is really appalling.
She called for action regarding the staff members that are being investigated.
The counselors in question need to be removed from their positions. Further, the fact that these practices have occurred inside of our schools and offices that are meant to be safe havens for our kids needs to be addressed as a community.
Superintendent Michael Morris addressed these concerns at the same meeting.
It's painfully obvious that continued work is needing to happen around LGBTQ plus issues.
Since then, the district has released a statement regarding the investigation. It reads in part, quote, "While the investigation is ongoing and will take some time to complete, the process to repair any harm to our students and community has already begun and will continue." It goes on to say, quote, "The district and ARMS are also partnering with an outstanding local organization, the Stonewall Center at UMass, to plan supports and trainings for students, families, and staff." Western Mass News spoke with a representative from the Stonewall Center who tells us their goal while working with the Amherst community.
Creating a climate that is supportive and welcoming to LGBTQ plus students, and that staff people, administrators, teachers are aware of their needs and are also following what we have as policies, both at the school level as well as statewide and federal.
And the district says the investigation is still ongoing. Anyone with further complaints regarding these issues is instructed to reach out to the Amherst School's Title IX office. Reporting live in studio, Paris Dunford for Western Mass News.